Assalamu alaikum, dear student. Let's just start financial management lecture number 3. In the previous class, we reached at the concept of cash flows, and we did discuss there are two types of cash flows. One is real cash flows, another is nominal. So let's just start the journey from this concept. Actually, real cash flows means without inflation. Real cash flows means without inflation. Nominal cash flows means with inflation. So real cash flows means without inflation and nominal means with inflation. When your cash flows are real, means without inflation, then you must use real cost of capital without inflation. So cost of capital must be real. Cost of capital must be real. When your cash flows are nominal, nominal means with inflation, then cost of capital must be nominal. Repeat. When your cash flows are real, real cash flows means without inflation, then you will be using a real cost of capital. When your cash flows are nominal, means with inflation, then you will be using nominal cost of capital. One more thing, for nominal cash flows, examiner can use other terms as well, like monetary cash flows. Examiner can also use the word money cash flow. Okay, dear student, now let us first discuss how do we convert real cash flows to the nominal cash flows. So right now we are learning how do we convert real cash flows to nominal. Question 1. Let me tell you, before starting question 1, let me tell you the first concept rule. If examiner says current price, or he can use the word year zero price, or examiner can use the term real term price. So if your examiner is using the word current price or year zero price or real term price or present day price, whichever terminology is used out of these four, it will always mean inflation will be incorporated from the first year. So inflation comes from first year. So simply inflation comes from first year. Okay. Second, if your examiner is using the terminology first year price, then inflation comes from second year. So if your examiner is using the term first year price means inflation till first year is already incorporated. So that is where the inflation will come from the second year. Obviously, if your examiner uses the term second year price, then you will be incorporating the inflation from the third year. Now let us see numerically how do we make current cash flows to real cash flows to the nominal. Question 1. Time, let's say T1, T2, T3. We have selling price in current prices. Okay, leave this. Just make it simple. Simply you have been given an information current price. Current price is, let's say it is 100. assuming inflation per annum is 10%. Every year, inflation is 10%. Simply, the requirement is to convert this given current prices to nominal prices. So the requirement is calculate nominal price. How do we calculate nominal price? It's very simple. Since information which is given to us in question 1, that is in current prices. That is why inflation will come from the first year. All you need is just multiply this 100 with 1.1. You will be getting 110. Second, multiply 1.1 power 2. Let me use the calculator. 100 into 1.1 power 2. I'm getting 121. Third, 1.1 power 3. So 100 into 1.1 power 3, that gives me 133.1. Okay, let's take 133. Another possibility is, for example, if someone has calculated 110, you can also calculate the same answer. If 110 you multiply this with 1.1, you will get 121. If 121 you multiply this with 1.1, you will get 133. So it's up to you how you're solving the question. So what we have done in question 1, we have converted current prices to nominal prices. Now let's see, second, you can say question or example, whatever you say. T1, T2, T3, let's make it T4 also. Let's say we have given average current price. It is 100, it is 122, it is 115, 137. Inflation per annum is, let's say, 12%. Requirement is very simple, just calculate nominal prices. Just calculate. All you need is just calculate nominal prices. So how do we calculate nominal price? Again, since we have been given current prices. Whenever examiner gives you current price means actually price at time 0. Obviously, if the price is at time, given price is representing the time 0, then obviously inflation comes from the first year. So simply 100 into 1.12, you will get 112. Now simply power 2, 122 into 1.12. Even though the examiner has mentioned the average current prices, whatever he says, when examiner says current prices incorporate the inflation from the first year, it is coming after rounding of 153. 1.12 power 3, 115 into 1.12 power 3. I'm getting 161.5667. 1.12 take the power 4. So 137 into 1.12 take power 4. So 215.57 make it 6. Now in question number 2, you cannot do this. If someone takes 112, if you multiply this with 1.12, that will be incorrect. The shortcut which we did discuss in question 1 is not applicable in question 2 because in question 2, average current price of the each year is different. So that is why if you come across a question which is exactly similar like in my example 2, question 2, then you have to incorporate inflation, and there's only one way, the way in which I have incorporated. First year, just take 1.12, but the second year you have to take power 2, for the third year power 3, for the fourth year power 4. There's no other way to solve question which is question like 2. Question 3 is extremely important. Time T1, T2, T3, let's take T4 as well. Average current price, let's say it is 20, it is 24, it is 27, and it is, let's say, 26.5. These are the average current prices. Inflation per annum, it is 12%, 15, 11, and 13%. You need to calculate nominal prices. Let's calculate nominal price. Now, I want every one of you pause the video, attempt the question, and then you can always unpause the video. But right now, I really want every one of you, please pause the video, try to attempt the question. And I hope now you're watching this answer after attempting the question. 20 multiplied by 1.12. I'm getting 22.4. Now, extremely important point. Since every year inflation rate is different, that is why we cannot apply the technique, we cannot take powers. So in the second year, first you have to multiply this with 1.12, inflation of the first year, then take the inflation of second year. You cannot take, you cannot do 24 multiplied by 1.1 power 2, because if you are doing 24 into 1.15 power 2, that is incorrect, because inflation is not same in every year. Inflation is different. That is why we cannot take powers over here. So 24 multiplied by 12 into 1.15, I'm getting 30.912. For the third year, I'll take 1.12, 1.15, and 1.11. Again, we cannot take powers because inflation is changing every year. So 27 multiplied by 12 into 1.15 into 1.11. Let me again, 27 multiplied by 1.12 multiplied by 1.15 multiplied by 1.11. I'm getting 38.6. Now I really want you to try to attempt T4. What will you do? 1.12 into 1.15 into 1.11 into 1.13. So 26.5 into 1.12 multiply by 1.15 multiply by 1.11 into 1.13. I'm getting, with a little bit rounding off, I'm getting 42.8. Now you might be thinking, sir, why we did not take the power? Because we did not take the power. The reason is because inflation rate is changing every year. And in the previous questions, we took the powers because inflation was same in every year. If we go back to our study where you must have studied one thing, x multiplied by x into x, simply we'll take x power 3. When bases are same, we can add the powers. This is something which we do study in our school. But if I multiply x with a y, there will not be power. It will be x into y. So why in question number 3 we did not took the powers? Because inflation is changing every year. That is a case of x multiplied by y. In first two questions, why did we take powers on the inflation? It is a case of first example. Because when bases are same, you can take the power. That's a simple maths, and I'll strongly believe every one of you loves maths. So that is all about how do we convert real cash flows to nominal by obviously incorporating inflation, because real cash flows means without inflation and nominal means with inflation. And these are the three examples. They covered each and every area. How do we convert real cash flows to nominal? This is the only the maximum variety which is available in financial management in the pocket of examiner. It is the variety is only 3 areas. All these 3 examples, they covered all the varieties. How do we convert real cash flows to nominal? Another thing, when your cash flows are real, then you need cost of capital real. Now the question arises, what if my cash flows are real? I do need a cost of capital real, but what if examiner gives me the nominal cash flows? What should I do? Or let's say either way around, you have nominal cash flows, means cash flows with inflation, but examiner has given you a real cost of capital. So actually, what do we right now going to discuss? We are going to discuss right now how do we convert a real cost of capital to the nominal, nominal to the real. The conversion from real cost of capital to the nominal, from nominal to real, we use Fisher effect. So Fisher effect will Fisher effect helps you to convert your real cost of capital to the nominal or nominal to the real. So simply nominal rate plus 1 is equal to real rate into 1 plus inflation rate. So simply you can see that real rate multiplied by 1 plus inflation rate, that will make your real rate to the convert to the nominal rate. So simply the nominal rate plus 1 is equal to real rate into 1 plus inflation. Okay, just a minute. So simply by using Fisher effect, you can convert real cost of capital to the nominal cost of capital or nominal to the real. Fisher effect. By using Fisher effect, you can convert nominal rate to the real. So 1 plus nominal rate is equal to 1 plus real rate into 1 plus inflation. So it's a very simple equation. 1 plus nominal rate is equal to 1 plus real rate into 1 plus inflation rate. You can see one thing. Real rate does not have the effect of inflation. Nominal does have the effect of inflation. Look at the formula. What are we doing? We are actually multiplying 1 plus real rate with the 1 plus inflation rate. Obviously, when we incorporate inflation to the real rate, it becomes nominal rate. Nominal rate means with inflation. Now, a very important concept is, what do you mean by which inflation rate do we use over here? Do we use specific inflation or general inflation? Let me give you the example of specific inflation. If I say your selling price will rise by 10%, your variable cost will rise by, let's say, 7%. Your fixed cost will rise by 10%, assuming these all are specific inflations. In Fisher effect, we don't use specific inflation, we use general inflation, which is in overall economy. So you need to know one thing. In Fisher effect, actually we use general inflation rather than a specific inflation. Obviously, general inflation will be given to you. If the general inflation is not given to you and there's only one inflation rate, then we'll assume that inflation rate is the general inflation rate. So simply 1 plus nominal rate is equal to 1 plus real into 1 plus inflation rate. Let's see a question. Real rate is 15%. Inflation rate is 10%. Obviously, nothing is mentioned and given inflation is general inflation required. You simply need to calculate nominal rate. Let us try how do we calculate nominal rate. 1 plus nominal rate is equal to 1 plus real rate. So 1 plus real rate. So 1 plus 15% is 1.15. Then inflation rate 1 plus 10%. It means 1.1. So nominal rate is equal to 1.15 into 1.1 minus 1. Let me use the calculator. 1.15 into 1.11 nominal rate. I'm getting 1.2765 minus 1. Whatever comes, multiply that with 100. So actually it is 27.65%. So the nominal rate is 27.65%. Another question. Let's assume nominal rate examiner has given you and the nominal rate is 20%. Nothing is mentioned. Given inflation is always treated as general inflation. Inflation rate 8% per annum. So the nominal rate is 20%, inflation is 8%. Calculate real rate. Obviously, real rate means without inflation. How do we calculate? It's very simple. Real rate 1 plus 1 is equal to nominal rate. Real rate plus 1 is equal to nominal rate plus 1 divided by inflation rate plus 1. So you can do one more thing. Plus 1, if you write this plus mine on the other side of equation, then it will become minus 1. So real rate is actually is equal to nominal rate plus 1 divided by inflation rate plus 1. Now let's see a question. We have a nominal rate 20% means 1.2. Inflation rate is 8%, so divided by 1.08. Let's use a calculator. 1.2 divided by 1.08. 1.2 divided by 1.08, I'm getting 1.111 minus 1. Let me use 1.2 divided by 1.08 minus 1. I'm getting into 100, 11.11%. So simply the real rate is 11.11%. So dear student, now you should be having idea how do we convert real cost of capital to the nominal or nominal to the real. Basically, if you have been given nominal cash flows and examine when the cash flows are nominal, obviously cost of capital has to be nominal. But what if the cash flows are nominal but the cash flows are nominal but the given cost of capital is real? Then by using Fisher effect, you can convert the real cost of capital to the nominal or nominal cost of capital to the real. So in this class, actually, we did discuss how to convert real cash flows to the nominal, and then we also discussed by using Fisher effect how to convert real cost of capital to the nominal, nominal to the real. But towards the obviously somewhere mid or end of this topic, we will also discuss, inshallah, how to convert nominal cash flows to real cash flows. How do we convert nominal cash flows to the real cash flows? Because by using Fisher effect, we have seen how to convert the real cost of capital to the nominal. We will be learning, inshallah, very soon how to convert nominal cash flows to real cash flows. We will discuss that. Don't worry at all, inshallah. So, dear student, inshallah, in the next class, we'll start from this point onwards. So that is all about financial management. Previously, this paper was called F9, but now it is financial management. So that is all about financial management in the lecture number 3. Inshallah, the lecture number 4 will start from the same point. So thank you very much for watching this lecture. Have a nice life.